I could take down 3 thugs in under a minute, but I couldn't forget one quiet farmer for years. I'd always considered myself a woman who was hard to surprise. On my land, I'd seen snow fall, bullets fly, husbands die, and bets rise and fall in the saloon. I'd watched men ruin their own lives and women gather the pieces and keep going. I'm Sheriff Rachel Hardy, 42 years old. My weight? Heavy. My temper? Heavier. Scars? Yes, a few. Star on my chest? That too. But that day I almost stumbled myself when I saw a guy lying out on the road near the old bridge face down, like somebody had decided he was trash. I dismounted, walked over, and turned him over. Young. Too young. 27 maybe. Face beaten, lip split, a bruise rising over one eye on his neck, a clear mark from a rope. I knew right away what had been done to him. "Hey, you alive?" I asked. He groaned and opened his eyes. "Water," he whispered. I gave him some. He drank like that water was his last chance. "What's your name?" "Lucas Marsh." I narrowed my eyes. "Who did this to you?" "Sullivan's men," he breathed. "They wanted my land, didn't get it, so they left me to die." Sullivan. Of course I knew those jackals. I hauled Lucas up onto my horse, held him in place myself so he wouldn't slide off. He smelled of blood and dust. "Hang on, boy. If you fall, I'm not picking you back up." He gave a rough little chuckle. "Better fall to you than to the rope." And that's how I brought him to my place, and the minute I carried him into my house, I knew there was no going back. I dragged out my medical box, tore his shirt open. His back was a map of bruises, his chest covered in scratches, a cut across his shoulder. "This is gonna burn," I warned him. "After a rope. I don't care." I poured spirits on the wound. He hissed, clenched his teeth, but didn't scream. "Sullivan's men came for your land? What do you have out there, gold?" "Water," he said. "Water? A spring, the only one for miles. My wife, she was the one who found it." I froze for a second. "Wife?" "Had one," he corrected. "She died last winter." I nodded. Pain is a familiar thing. I lost my husband 7 years ago. "And you're alone?" "Alone," he repeated, and somehow that word hit me harder than a bullet wound. The town was buzzing within an hour. Everyone had seen the sheriff dragging a young man into her house. Of course they had. Gossip is our second son. "You see that?" "Sure did." "He's gonna live there now?" "She'll crush him in bed." I pretended not to hear Lucas did hear, but kept silent. When he came fully to, he said quietly, "You're beautiful, Sheriff." I almost dropped my mug. "You hit your head harder than I thought." "No," he said. "I'm serious." I turned away. No one had said that to me in about 10 years. A few days later, he could already walk. Limping, but walking. "Where do you think you're going?" I barked. "Gonna get some water," he said. "You're standing on my stitches and a promise. Get back on that couch." "Rachel, I'm used to working." First time he called me by my name felt like a punch to the chest. "Everything here is mine," I told him. "And you live by my rules." "What if I want to help you?" he asked. I didn't know what to say. No one helped me. People only sat on my shoulders. "Do what you want," I grumbled. He smiled. And for the first time in years, I realized I liked that. But my peace ended when Ben Sullivan showed up. Fancy vest, predator's smile, killer's eyes. "Sheriff Hardy, what an honor," he said, stepping into the saloon. "We've got plenty of coffins." "Take your pick," I replied. He leaned low, looking me straight in the face. "You've got a guest in your house by chance, young, handsome, beaten to a pulp?" I looked at him like the snake he was. "I found blood, no body." "Coyotes, then?" "Coyotes," I nodded. "And I can also shoot anyone who comes onto my property uninvited." He smiled. "If Marsh shows up, he's mine." "On my land, everyone's mine," I said. "Now get out." He left, but I knew he'd be back. That evening, I told Lucas, He knows you're here. I'll go, he answered. I don't want to cause trouble for you. This is my house, my call. He looked at me in a way that made something shift inside. You could have handed me over to Sullivan, he said, but you didn't. I can't stand it when the strong crush the weak. He smiled faintly. So, I'm weak? You're alone, I said. That's worse. He fell quiet, then said softly, let me stay here, live here, work with you. I nearly fell off my chair. The town will talk. Let them. I'm tired of living how everyone else expects. And what did you see in me? I snapped. Big woman? Limp? Old? He stepped closer, very close. A woman, he said, that I want. I swallowed. You don't even know what I'm like in bed. Can I find out? He asked. I felt my face go hot. Lock the door, I whispered. He locked it, and I took off my badge. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't the sheriff. I was just a woman. The night was long, warm, honest. He wasn't afraid of my scars, my body, my strength. He held me like no one had in years, not with caution, not with disgust, with real want. I woke up next to him. His arm lay over my waist, and I realized I didn't want him to leave. It wasn't him that left, though. It was my quiet, when Sullivan's men rode into town. 8 of them, armed, angry. I stepped out to meet them. Where's Marsh? Ben asked. At home, I answered calmly. He's mine. You're mistaken, I said. He's under my protection. Ben smirked. Then you'll step out for him. A duel. What do you say? I smirked back. A duel. 1-on-1, in front of everyone. You lose, you leave him alone. He agreed. When Lucas stepped up to me, I whispered, Shoot on 2. He'll never expect it. Lucas nodded. The count started. 1, 2, shot. Clayton, Sullivan's gunman, hadn't even touched his holster yet. Second shot, and he was on the ground, clutching his shoulder. The crowd roared. Ben went pale. That's cheating. That's words, I answered. You said on the count of 3. Never said we had to wait until 3 to shoot. He rode off, swearing he'd be back. I didn't care. Not as long as Lucas was still beside me.